Hey everybody, thought about this a little bit late into the job. Didn't think to film it, but I believe it is quite a common problem because I've actually heard a couple of jags with this problem now, and I've heard a couple of other people mention they've heard them. What it basically is you end up with very squeaky back suspension, which I've not had this car long. It didn't have this problem until after about a month of owning it, which I think may have been caused by me bumping up and down the curb. So basically, if you were to just bounce on the back of that car when it's on the floor, it is squeaky as hell to the point where it really is annoying. So after watching on YouTube, seeing somebody else who had the same problem, and what he did that cured it is basically you got this top control arm. It's a 15mm nut and bolts that hold it in. You got these the nut side is actually welded on, so make sure you undo from the bolt side. So all I've done, I've took this control arm out. I've got a wire brush into inside it all when it's been opened. Give it a good clean out. I've cleaned the rust, the worst of the rust off from around the ends of the control arm, and I've used copper ease. And basically I've just plastered all inside of that mounting point. I've copper eased the bolt, and this is the lower control arm. I say I've done the same again, just cover it, give it a clean up, just slap copper ease all over the rubbers and everything, and put a bit inside the holes and all that. So that's your top arm, and there's the bolt for the lower one. Basically, a bit awkward to see here. That one pushes into the groove there, and then that one's coming across and bolting up inside there. So again, 15mm bolts. I may pull out the bolt for the shock absorber as well and give that a bit of a clean up as well. So hopefully this will solve the problem for me as well. These bolts are tough to get out. If they ain't been took out at any point and had copper ease on them, then they are a bit of a bastard. If need be, what you can do is get a blow lamp on that welded bolt just to expand it a little bit, and we did that on one bolt when we'd done this very quickly before, but we didn't take it all apart. We just pulled the bolts out and copper eased them and put them back, but I don't think that was quite enough. So the one, we did have to get the blowtorch on it, and then that did actually release the bolt quite easy. So I shall crack on. I'll let you know if this solves the problem. Hopefully it will. Bye for now. Alright everybody, right, that's me just got the job finished. It has been fairly straightforward, not giving me too much hassle, and first impressions are looking good. Not a sound out of it. No, I'd bounced the car like this before I'd done that job. It was really bad, like a really bad worn out bed mattress squeaking away like crazy. So fingers crossed that's the problem resolved, and once you know what the issue is, thankfully I got to see somebody else do this on YouTube, is how I knew to try this, and if that's all you've got to do to resolve the problem, then it's a fairly easy fix once you realise what the issue is. A little bit of copper slip and would appear we're all done. Now them bolts, the first time we took them out, they are really solid to get out, because it's a part that wouldn't be changed very often, and it's on a part of the car that's going to get all the rain on it all the time, so they were proper rusted in. So you're going to need a decent, I mean that's not the biggest breaker bar that I've got, but you're going to need a good bar or a really heavy duty socket set with a long wrench like this one that I borrowed off my mate. He had a big heavy duty socket set, so you're going to need something you can get a good amount of leverage on, and you may find if they're really bad, as we had to do on one bolt, you may have to just get the blow lamp out, heat up the nut on it to just expand it a little bit, and then it come out nice and simple then. I have heard a few of these jags now that I'm aware of it. Mine started doing it every time I see one now. I listen as it passes, and I have heard a few squeaking away. So it's obviously a common problem. So maybe it's just the amount of rust and everything that's down there, and all the crap that gets round the rubbers on the ends of them control arms, and they just start squeaking basically. But quite simple once you know how. So I hope this is helpful to someone. And bye for now. Hi everybody. Well, unfortunately my joy with the rear suspension squeak yesterday was very short-lived. As you see, when I put the car back together, I bounced the hell out of it. There wasn't a sound out of it. And the short journey to get back home, the squeak was back with a vengeance. So I'm back in again before I go buying parts. This is the lower control arm. And what I've done, I've took it off, get it in a vice, and then I'll have a pull on it and see whether there's any squeaks out of that bearing. I've just checked it, and as you can see, there's no squeaks out of that, so there's nothing wrong with that. So I've done both sides on this particular bushing. That's the one I suspected might be the dodgy one, because you've got the big spacer on it. I thought there'd be a bit more, obviously a bit more moving in that one, but that's fine as well. So I'll go and chuck this one back on, then I'll get the upper control arm off, and I'll do the same with that. That just saves me going out spending money if I don't need to. I priced this one up at Car Spares this morning, and this one's about 38 quid with the VAT. You can pick them up cheaper on eBay. I've seen them on there. I think it was about £34 for a pair of them. As for the quality of them, well, I guess you'd have to buy and see. What I've done while it's been off, I've also sprayed the anti-roll bar bushes, the drop links. What else did I do? There's a couple of little bits I could see rubber components in, so I've done them as well, just in case it's down to any of them. So, right, I'll go and get the other one off and see how that one's sounding. Everybody, that's the lower control arm back in place. As I said yesterday, they're easy enough to take out, apart from obviously the first time you do it, you might find the bolts are well and truly seized in. So 15mm mil nut bolt rather on this side to take out, and then the same at the back. So just get that last bolt out. And just a little bit of a wiggle, and they just drop right out. And there is possibly the offending item. Right, go and get this one tested, see how we get on. Right, so same again with this one. I've tested both sides, and there's no squeaking anything whatsoever from these control arms. So the issue is obviously something else. And it's quiet as a mouse, and I shouldn't imagine there's a great deal of moving on them when you're actually under load. Right, I shall investigate some more. Bye for now. And everybody, that's the control arms back on. The other place is just because I can see them. I've sprayed rubber on the drop link covers. Shouldn't imagine it'd be them. What is a potential though is the anti-roll bar bushes. So I've got some silicone lubricant, which is recommended for rubber and stuff like that. So I've done the anti-roll bar bushes, and the other bit I'm thinking is potential is, I'm not sure what this bush is called, but the bush inside here, that's the main thing. So that whole bar's got to move up and down as you're driving along, hitting bumps and what have you. So I'm just wondering if in there is potentially the cause of it. So while I'm under here, it makes sense to get a bit of spray in there, because it could be one of them where you just get lucky and a little bit of spray might just do the trick. Definitely worth a try. Say the anti-roll bar bushes as well. Get a bit in there, might just do the trick. Right, I'll do the other side and put it back together, and we'll see how we go this time round. Okay, I've just got round the other side, and on this one I've noticed, and you can see, that is actually a bit of a gap in the rubber, which I can't see that on the other side, so potentially this one maybe has corroded a bit, and potentially the source of the problem. So I got a good squirt of silicone in there. Right, I'll drop it back down and see how we're sounding, but I won't go by that because it didn't make a noise yesterday after I dropped it down. I'll wait till I've done a few more and see how we're looking. Okay everybody, well, I think I've had success sorting this out this time around. Last time I literally got probably not even quarter of a mile before the squeak come back. I've been out, had a drive around for a few miles now, been on some twisty country roads with a few bumps and what have you, and I've also been over quite a few speed bumps and went over them quite hard, and happy to say that is not a sound out of the car. So out of everything I lubricated, I imagine the most likely source of it will have been the anti-roll bars, which seem the most obvious, as they're going to be under quite a bit of stress as the car's bouncing around. And you've seen the other points that are lubricated, but my money would be on the anti-roll bars, bushes. So if you've got the same problem with a Jag, you know which areas to take a look at now. It's a relatively easy fix. So I hope this is of some help to somebody. Catch you later.